Good evening, and welcome to another degenerate version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your denigrating and dehumanizing host, Voice of Doom. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to keep doing diatribes because time is growing short, and I should try to get as much in as I can. And I want to explain a few things from a more Buddhistic and existential outlook as I see them on what's happening in the world. Now, I've been watching all the issues of the tribes going at each other, which everyone's being manipulated by higher powers to achieve an end which only they know. But I will say a few things about what's happening on the international front and what's happening on the national front, and how people don't seem to realize that cause and effect is a very strict law, and if people don't see the connection between what's happening to them and what's happened in the past, then they are doomed to suffer lifetime after lifetime in misery, because they don't realize the interrelationship of life and all phenomena. Okay, that's a little deep, but that's the truth. Life and all phenomena are connected. Now, I could go from one place to another. Let's start with the local front. Let's start with people struggling with their bills, which is a common phenomena for everyone to experience when you can't pay everything that you owe in order to maintain your lifestyle that you thought you wanted to have. Okay. Now, there are people on YouTube, and you can find millions of them, complaining about the price of their health care, and they're not getting anything from it, only just emptying their bank accounts to pay off month after month for health care that doesn't cover their health. Okay. Now, I would bet that many of these people were very sympathetic when Petri Dish, our former president, was allowing millions and millions and millions of people coming into this country unvetted, only to be given free everything. Free housing, free food, free phone, free health care. Not realizing that down the line someone's going to have to pay the piper, and who's going to pay? The working class of the United States, the indigenous people. They suddenly see that their health insurance is $1,200 a month for a family of 4, which is untenable. Now, why did that happen? Did it happen perhaps because the so-called government that runs our system was giving away billions of dollars to people that just came in here and they need a lift up and they need a helping hand in order to get their bearings in the United States so they can be productive members of society? So give them all free health, free food, free, apartments in New York and whatever else. Didn't anyone ever occur to them that would come back and bite them on the butt? And I bet you 90% of those people were all bleeding heart liberal, idiot, wokester, numbskulls that were all for helping people to pile into the United States and take advantage of everything we have, and then not just take what was free, but take more in various cities where they opened up daycare centers and opened up autistic centers and opened up, adult health, adult, care, and, geriatric care in order to take as much money out of the system as they could. We've all seen it. We all know about it. But do these people who are paying and they're bitching about their grocery bills and bitching about their, healthcare bills and insurance, do they think about how they are having to make up for all this stuff that was given away? No, they don't. Because they don't understand causality. They don't understand how they caused the very suffering that they are living through. It's very obvious. Now, let's go from there, which is a bad problem, and it's not going to be alleviated until the powers that be get rid of the $6 billion that they find to be a hindrance to their happiness. Let's go to a more international, a more foreign policy kind of a situation. Now, they are saying in Iran that they are sick and tired of their Islamic regime, and they have no freedom, and it's draconian, and it's 13th century Islamic BS. Okay. Now, if you understand causality, you realize that those people who are on the street in Iran had fathers and grandfathers who were fighting in the street of Iran to get rid of the Shah and institute a Ayatollah Khomeini, who was a devil, to take over and institute a new form of law. And that regime took over and has created untold misery in all of the Middle East and elsewhere for 50 years. Now, these people who are on the street are the grandkids and the sons and daughters of the people that brought in this regime. And they're going to have to pay for the sins of their fathers. That's just the way it is. There's no easy way out of it. I'm sorry. But they have to pay. And they may say the freedom-loving people of Iran want to rise up, and the U.S. will help them, and they will send an armada of ships. And the Ayatollahs will be shoved out, and they will be killed, or otherwise dispensed of. But it won't be without having to pay, because of the sins of their fathers. I was there when the Ayatollah came off the plane. I was there when the Shah got ousted. I wasn't in Iran, but I saw it. And you realize that maybe your ally is not the best person in the world. They may have secret police, and they may have apparati to, quell any insurrection amongst the people, but then you allow an even worse regime to come in. So they're going to pay, and I hope they prevail, but they're not exempt from the karmic retribution of their fathers and mothers and the people that thought that a pristine Islamic nation would be their salvation. So you got to think about cause and effect. You really do have to think about it really carefully, because just as these grandkids are rising up against the regime and they're being killed because of previous sins. And just as the wokester idiots who were paying $3,500 a month for their mortgage because they have to buy a $750,000 house are paying for their idiot notion that we should just let everybody into the United States and pay for everything they want. That's not the way it works. Nobody pays for all my stuff. I have to earn it, and then I usually squander it, and whatever I have left, I might pay a few bills, but these people don't put two and two together and go, maybe my philosophy of compassion for every single person on the planet that wants to sneak into the United States and gets everything free, maybe that's causing my stupid ass medical insurance to go up, and my mortgage to go up, my rent to go up, and my food prices to go up. Now, we have a few months to maybe try to get it together. I don't see much hope. I really don't. Because people just don't want to see that they have to take responsibility. They have to improve their own life to, improve the environment around them. It's very simple, but it's very hard because they're stuck in their tribe. And you have to just say, wait a minute, we've squandered billions of dollars, people have ripped us off, how long are we going to put up with it before we go, wait? People need to have their own, concerns taken care of, and just leave us alone. That's good enough. But give us an affordable lifestyle where you can pay $200 a month for health insurance for your family and have everything taken care of if anything bad happens. But we all see that's not happening, so people better wise up, because sooner or later it's going to be where no one can afford to do anything, and then all the cars and all the houses and everything else gets confiscated by the powers that be, and 6 billion people get shuffled off this mortal coil. And that's the end of it. It's good for them, the elitists, but we're gone. So people better start thinking about it really hard, because I can see it's coming down. Everything's going to be coming down really hard in 2026. And people talk about, well, just leave the country. That's not that easy. Put together the money to just move to Belize? No, it's not that easy. Or just give up on everything and go live in the woods? That's not that easy. You'll freeze to death. I know from firsthand that's what happens when you go out to the woods. So, I didn't have much to say about this, but I wanted to talk about cause and effect because, it's not as easy as you think. The pristine people of Iran who are shouting in the streets for their freedom, they are paying the penance of their forebears. And if you think about things in that way, then everything is pretty simple. You're going to have to pay for your parents' and your grandparents' sins. And that's all about Buddhism. Everything's connected. Life and all phenomena are connected. And we'll see what happens, but hopefully things will get better. People have to work on themselves. That's the way it is. So I'll leave it there. I said quite a bit. I don't know if you understand it at all because I'm half crocked, but I think people should try to understand that you reap what you sow. And when you pontificate and you stand up for things that seem unfair, then unfairness will happen to you. So I'll leave it there. Hopefully somebody got something out of this. I don't know. But enjoy what's left of our lives.